Yeah, you look fine.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Knights of Teleria podcast. I am Blazin, and I am excited today that we have a lot of things to discuss. We got to discuss the possibility, honestly, of getting friendly fights. We've got to discuss the all the information that Plarium thinks we want, and maybe we do, maybe we don't. But before we get too far, let me introduce my hosts for today's podcast. Starting with the top little red box right there, representing the free-to-play community, 2024's streamer of the year. Let me get that right. Mr. Final Campachi. Ken, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Doing good, man. We finally reached 7,000 points on the live arena last week, so that was huge. Top 330 something player. So we are already is 8K now, but I'm not sure that's gonna happen. Fights are so hard, man. Like, we have no idea. Actually got a very funny clip. You guys want to see that?
Send it up and we'll play it.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
These
All right.
champions crawling around on their butts.
You guys can move the next one.
Are we talking about the one where it's CP soloing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. I saw that today. I was like, first of all, I thought that was funny as all hell. And then second of all, I was like, is he really going to be that much of a...
I just sent the link if you want to show.
Let's take a quick peek at it. Ken being toxic right now. Right here. This is about as toxic as we can get. Just Sifi A1. Just Sifi A1 kills everything. We're being absolutely...
The perfect turn meter.
It's just
perfect.
Who was it that you were going up against on this?
I can't check.
Because honestly,
it doesn't matter. They quit the game after this.
Honestly, it's one of those things where I'm just like, really? But
It's an OBV kilobyte.
Oh, OBV kilobyte. Okay, so one of PJ's friends. PJ's playmates.
Poor guy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've been seeing a lot of OBV recruitment posts, so
maybe somebody left. Speaking about OBV, let's move to my favorite late night streamer, Mr. MXPJE. PJ, what is going on, brother? Are you guys recruiting right now?
Always recruiting. Always recruiting. Always looking for more people. OBV is actually huge, though. I think there's like 4,000 members in it or something. It's a ginormous clan. So if you are looking for a new spot, there's tons of different clans for every different difficulty or level of account. But I'm doing good. After that, I could see why we might be recruiting more. That was crazy. But doing good. I've been playing a little bit more, or I've been starting to play Marvel Rivals. I started that a few days ago. Really liking that. I've been doing some comp, almost in plat. And happy to be here, talk about Raid with you guys. We got some good topics to discuss.
Awesome. Next up, we got our top live arena 100 specialists coming in. Mr. Gestel Gaming. Gestel, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Doing great, my man. Just another fun week in Raid World, and excited to talk about the future.
Awesome. Next up, we got the Dab Master, who decided to take a week off last week because, kids are more important than Raid, or so Plarium wants us to, kind of act that way. Mr. Zero Brew. Zero, how is it going?
It's going great. I did hear you say that. I went back and watched, and shout out to my boy PJ giving me a shout out. That was cool. So I didn't watch the full show. Honestly, time has been a challenge with life right now, but that was cool. You're like, yeah, you can have your microbrew, you can have your dad one week out of the year, and then we get him all the rest. That was funny. But no, we had a fantastic time. She enjoyed her birthday party, and then turned around on Monday and got sick. So picked up strep throat, missed 4 days of school. So it's been a challenging week. And then we decided to adopt a fourth pet, aka a second cat. So that has been interesting to try to introduce them to the other animals in the house. It's been wild, but it's a fantastic cat. So life has been upside down for your boy Azir Brew over the last week. But I absolutely missed you guys and missed the community, and glad to be back. As always, creepy heart hands. Whoop whoop.
All right. And last but not least, we've got someone that I've enjoyed doing a weekly collab as of right now, which I think is going to become a long-term thing as long as he's good with it. We have ourselves Bick. Bick, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Hey guys, I'm good. Just as always, a little bit tired, but otherwise, I'm very good.
Yeah, I think right now for you, it's what, 9 o'clock at night over there?
It's 8 p.m. So
8
yeah.
p.m. So yeah,
And here.
it's pretty late. Yeah, Ken's like, I'm nighty night, guys. All right. Real quick, before we go too far into the show, you guys have to make sure you're following Beck over on YouTube, because I am pushing him to do his first YouTube video, and I'm giving him a little bit of a boost. So he's going to be giving out 540 gems and an ancient shard to 5 lucky winners. And I'm not going to say how he's got to do it. That's all up to him. But he's got till the 23rd of the month to get that back to me. So make sure you guys are following Beck over on YouTube and Twitch. And Beck, if you wouldn't mind just throwing in your stuff both on the YouTube side and Twitch side, or send it over to me and I'll put it in. But make sure you guys are following over there. I got to say, the 2 collabs that we've produced so far, people are loving, right? Okay. So I will apologize to everybody in advance for watching this screen up here, because I'm going for that soul for the cat. And I'm sorry to anybody in my bracket, but I really want that soul. Even though it's only a 5-star, I still want it. So I do apologize. What?
Do you have the cat?
Oh, I do. I have the cat.
Oh,
Nice. I lucked out last 2x and was able to get her. So, but let's talk about some of the stuff Plarium came out this week, and let me see here. Let's get it out here. There's a couple of things that I'm okay with, and there's a couple of things that I'm a little bit upset with. So we're gonna start off with the number one thing, which is, my response when I read this was, what the hell? Why hasn't this been in game already? Which is the oil extract, right? So we're finally going to be able to start mixing oils from Sand Devils and from the Phantom Shogun. And all I could say about this is it's about damn time, right? Ken, what are your thoughts on this? What are your feelings?
I mean, drop rate are totally garbage, man. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but you are getting like a small one, you are getting a big one, but medium is always a problem. I don't know what's going on. Like, I remember, like, I spent like over 1000 energy try to get like 60 medium one to finally fully upgrade my gear, you know. This is huge, especially for the early game, you know, because they cannot farm on the highest level. So, you know, the big portions are belong to the highest level, so they can slowly grind on the low level, and they can mix them, right? They can mix the small to the medium and medium to the big one. That can help a lot for us as well. The question is how much silver that's going to be cost.
How much silver or how much resources is the question.
Silver. I think silver. Like, the potion is going to be cost silver problem.
I'm sure it's going to cost silver, but I'm more concerned about the exchange ratio, because right now the exchange ratio for the, you know, brews that we get right now in potion keeps isn't bad. If they stick to that, I'd be okay. But will they go higher, right? Chat, to you guys, are you excited or are you for this extract swap, right? is it something you really want in the game, or does it not even really matter? And I think Ken's point is right on players that are definitely not able to get to that end game, to that stage 25, are gonna benefit the most out of this, right? I mean, the whales is definitely going to benefit as well too. But Vic, what about you, man? What do you think about this?
So I think this is a good change because this is one of the things the community has been asking for quite a while. So it kind of proves that they are listening to us, because otherwise they wouldn't be saying it. One of the things that I have in the back of my head is that you like there seems to be like a timeline where they are starting to better communicate with the player base and giving us the things that we've been asking for quite a while. And I cannot help but wonder if this has something to do with the takeover from MTG's side.
Okay.
So this is kind of what I have in the back of my head, because I think they are now under new management, and this is actually a gaming company, and some of their games the player base is a big fan of, and I do think that there's like some goodwill that they're trying to gain from the player base at the moment.
Okay. It's a very valid point. It's definitely one of those things where I know I've said it for a while, and I did my whole piss on Plarium video saying, why don't we have this, especially when we're sitting on hundreds of thousands of the smaller oils and basically nothing of the middle or larger ones. So I think you're onto something with that. PJ, what about yourself?
I think overall this is really good. I think there are a few things that are funny. It says your feedback has driven the developers to analyze potential solutions. And this is after extensive consideration and testing. They concluded that adding the highly requested oil extract thing. So it's like, I wonder if what other consideration or solutions they consider. They pretty much just copy and pasted the potion thing, which is another, like, why is it taking to the summer? I mean, I'm not sure about how coding is, but I feel like it's already in the game, this like mixing of the potions. Why does it have to wait to the summer to be put in? Just put it in sooner. I feel like like the code's pretty much already there. The other thing is, like, this is almost like I guess it's good. I'm glad they're doing it, but it's almost like a band-aid to the bigger problem, which is just the drop rates and the Sand Devils and the Shogun in general. Like, the drop rates are all bad and messed up. So this is like will help with that, but they should have the extracts to help, or the mixers to help, like what Ken said, to the early, but then also fix the drop rates for the later players as well.
I like your you're right in 100% that it would just be a kind of copy and paste type of situation, and why are they waiting till the summer? I guess my response to that's going to be like, they need to pace themselves, because how many good things will they actually bring out throughout 2024? Now they're saying that there's going to be something huge coming this year. And I'm hoping that it's not just the arena seasons, but we'll touch up onto that in just a minute.
And just the extensive consideration and testing is like so funny to me that they put that.
That's true. We all know that a lot of the testing doesn't really happen by Plarium. It kind of happens by yeah, you're right. And we can always thank Bronco for that. Gessel, what about you?
Well, yeah, it's definitely great. The history of Sand Devil. We had when they first brought this out, there were no dust. So the first potions, the lowest level potions, were by far the most important, because you were putting those in to see if it was even worth rolling them up. Now you don't even care because you have dust. But what they did back then was they're like, okay, yeah, you guys definitely need more of these, so here you go. And now you get like an influx of these first ones. They've upped them on every single level and whatever. So now I think I have like 40,000 of the first one. I have like 20 of the second one, and of the big one I have like 600. So yeah, like as other people have been saying, it's completely outscaled. So whatever, bring in the mixer. It's good and bad because the mixing is good because it's kind of on demand. You can get it, but the silver cost, to me, silver is always an issue. I don't farm enough, so
Okay.
silver's kind of always an issue. So I think this will become a silver issue. I guess I'm glad they're doing it, but it doesn't, like, they're like other people have been saying, like this is now like a band-aid to cover stitches, to cover like maybe we should unwind all of this and like reevaluate how all of the potions come out of there, or whatever they're called, the oils.
Okay, so let's look at revisiting the drop rate, I guess, and what comes out of it. Okay. Last but not least, Dabmaster, hit us up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so I was already in my ADHD head, and I was thinking about on the back end, like the coding and stuff. And I think Gestel hit the nail on the head. I think when they originally designed the drop rates, we didn't have dust, so we didn't have reroll, so they probably were giving us the little ones more so than the medium ones. And then in my mind, I was thinking, like, obviously they code this in for us to drain our resources if we want to farm it, type thing, and they just messed up their numbers. But now hearing what Gessel just said, I think he's 100% right. That they baked this into the original numbers and they changed the form and didn't address the formula on the back end. And I think that the fix will be this mixer type situation. But I think, I really wish it would just address all of that in the sense of, I lost my thought.
Yeah.
ADHD is a mother beep.
Squirrel.
But Plarium, just fix it, basically. And the next bullet is really what I'm more excited about. But yeah.
Okay.
I had a whole thought. Now that I'm doing the free to play series and getting the free gear cleanse, like that is absolutely been massive. But they also gave it to us as a resource in Sin City, but I haven't unlocked Sin City yet. So like things like that. I think the point I was trying to make is I really wish Plarium would listen to their customer base and just like Big just said, like with a gaming company, maybe they'll focus on customer service. And I know that they've always monetized their currencies and everything to make us burn, spend, whatever. But if they give us these quality of life improvements that are customer focused and customer friendly, I think it'll help with keeping people more invested in the game and staying around for long. Because it's like death by a million cuts. Like I don't need to have to lose my silver or my, I don't have enough medium potions to do this, and now I got to pay silver to convert it, or I have to pay silver that I don't have to take gear off. But yeah, you gave me a free gear cleanse. Just give us these little quality of lives to make the games better, and I think the player base would be a lot more invested in it. So kudos for them for addressing it, but that's probably what they meant with the programming and testing comment. Is it's not as is with the dust and stuff. So there you
Right.
go.
I just want to clear something up. They're not giving us a free gear cleanse. They're giving us a free gear removal.
I'm sorry. Yes,
correct. Any
Yes.
new, because any new
Correct.
players coming in might be like, wait,
Removal.
free gear cleanse? What? No, it's.
I don't think I've watched Plarium.
But the thing
That
that's
is true.
annoying.
Actually, let me ask you guys, and chat. This is more towards you. Do you want Plarium to offer you a free gear cleanse service? Vic, what do you say? Do you think they do a good job at it?
I think they would have an intern write a script that would basically end up doing select all sell. So it would be a fun way to equalize the playing field, but I think a lot of people would be very mad.
Okay. Ken, what about you? Do you think Plarium should do a free gear cleanse for us?
On the champion rating screen, you guys need to check the recommendation gear. They recommended offense set stuff like that. So maybe they are gonna sell your savage and the little and leave your offense set if they exist. So probably not.
Okay. Let's see here. Sigfriend is going to use crit rate and offense. So
Yes, I'm gonna start using that on their Sigfriends, please.
Solid.
Gessel, what about you?
Yeah, I don't think I would want them to do that. Nope.
Okay. All right. PJ?
Hell no. I've seen them try to do Hydra builds and Hydra testing with Trunda and like hit 100 for 100,000. Like, no. I'm good.
Zero?
No, thank you.
Does anybody want Plarium to give them a free gear cleanse? Let us know. Because that would be, I mean, as lazy as I'm at, I think I'd rather just pay Ken to do mine. Honestly, but
I mean, you guys were just complaining about not having enough silver. This would solve the problem.
that is true. That is true. That would definitely solve the problem of not having enough silver
And inventory space.
And
Yep.
inventory space, guys. It's fixed every 6 months. Free Plarium gear cleanse.
That's how it's
Start back
fixed.
to zero.
You know that, and that's a good way to boost up their sales because everybody would have to buy energy again to farm the gear out, right?
Yeah, plus it like they are introducing seasons in Life Arena, so what better way to just start fresh every season, literally. So yeah.
Oh, that's priceless. All right, so on the oil extract mixer, you know, I think it's definitely something that's needed. We want it. We have a lot of concerns about it, but what is your major number one concern? What do you guys think may not bode well for the player base, and be just, I guess, not implemented as it should? Chat, I feel like for myself, the biggest one is going to be the ratio of what we have to give, right? If it's my biggest concern is that if we just have the same ratio that we currently have with the potions, I'm okay with that. But I'm curious to find out as what your biggest concern with it is going to be, what your problem. Bick, what advice would you give Plarium on this matter before launch?
Yeah, so I want to say two things. The first thing is, whatever they come up with, I won't really have a problem with it, because I'm not saying it is fine, but if they bring up with a terrible system, I'm just going to ignore it and continue as is. So it's not going to damage me, because they're not really changing the drop rates and stuff from what I've read. The other thing is, I think the content creators and the community needs to be better at clarifying what exactly it is we want from Plarium, because they are obviously sending us messages, hey, these are the things that we've been hearing a lot, and we have been considering it, and yeah, we want to do something about this. However, you can't just go say, and hey, we want these this oil converter, and then be mad when they add silver to it, because you never communicated that, hey, we want it to be this and it should function like this. You only said we want this, but you didn't give the specifics. So when we are giving feedback to Plarium, we should be making it clear, hey, we already put in the energy, we already wasted our resources to get these, and we didn't get what we want. Please do not make this cost a rib and an eye for us to convert these. Like, if you don't want to make it free because people can somehow abuse this, in your opinion, then that's fine, but don't make it be so expensive that people are going to be hurting when they do this. So I think the big bottleneck for this, if people are going to be happy about this, if Plarium makes it cost silver. If it's too much silver, then people are still going to be upset.
So Plarium, keep the silver cost, or just don't even make it charge silver, because it is one of the most difficult dungeons. We're not talking about Potion Keeps here, where we can go in at stage 20 and solo it. It is one of the most difficult dungeons that we can farm.
Yeah, and let me
PJ.
add to that, actually. If that's
Go
all
ahead.
right.
I'll let you go, Zero.
Yeah, so I mean, just to piggyback on that, because we don't get dungeon divers for this right now, right? So we've got dungeon divers currently going on, and Ascend
start Ken up
Devils.
yet.
Huh?
Don't set off Ken.
I'm just saying. That's funny, but I'm just saying, like we already have to choose one or the other, or have to burn our resources to do both. So I think that's a valid point. What he's saying is we are putting in the resources and we're taking away from other parts of the game. And I know Plarium's standard response is, well, you don't have to do everything in the game. And that is what it is. But I think that's valid too. And I think what I would add to that is exactly, I'm chiming. I think Gestel hit the nail on the head, and I'm just going to steal his thunder for the rest of the show, apparently. But
Your way, brother.
I really do think he's probably 100% right. They probably coded the lesser oils to be the pop because we didn't have the ability to redust. So if that is true, and that's how they originally designed it, I really hope they open up the hatch and look at those percentages again and tweak that just a little bit, just to give us a little bit more mediums now versus the conversion. And we probably still need the conversion. That's fine. But I think that makes a lot of sense because, yeah, if we're double and triple using resources, silver, whatever, for this, that's really crappy for a code fix now that we have dust, right? And or let us convert them to dust. Here's a novel idea. Turn the lessers, fix your things, and yeah, we can do them into mediums and take mediums into bigs. Maybe we can do a stack of 100 and get 5 dust out of it or something like that. I'm just saying.
Whoa, 100?
I don't know. The little ones.
Yeah, it's still 100 is too much. Come on now. Let's
For
go.
5 dust,
For 5.
you could get 100 out of
Did I
what,
do
3
that all
runs?
day?
Yeah,
I
and
do
get
that
about
all
Okay,
day.
hold on.
I think
Because-
100's good.
100 for 5 dust, I think might be too much. I want to show you.
Okay,
because
100 for
my-
3, whatever the number is. I'm just picking a number.
Too much dust?
I don't want to be
Dust
100
or
for
too
1.
many oils.
Yeah.
21 reworks, okay, to get crit
Oh,
damage
wow,
on
my
this.
God.
Imagine how much you would have to spend in transferring to get that kind. We're talking, what, almost 180 dust? How much is that going to be converted over? No, that's too much.
Okay, but
Way too
wouldn't
much.
then your feedback be to up the chances of hitting the relevant things by removing flat attack, flat HP, flat defense that nobody wants?
I think we should have a pity system for this. Most of all, I want to hit this one and it would take it after 10 or 9 or whatever, but 21 rolls to try to get crit damage, I think this is absolutely insane.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But to PJ, what is the warning you would feed back to Plarium?
Yeah, you guys kind of mentioned both of my biggest concerns. It would be the silver cost and then the conversion rate of how much we have to use and how much we get back. Yeah, I think silver is still a really big issue in this game. I know some people have billions, and billions, but I think a lot of people have millions and millions, which in this game goes very quickly. So yeah, I just be careful with how much it costs. It's more of like a late end game ish thing, I feel like, versus the potion keeps. So I'm kind of worried that they might make it a little bit more expensive than the potion keeps, in their mind. And then also ZB brings up a good point with the DDs and us not getting rewards. Any idea why they changed the name of the gear enhancement but not the dungeon divers? Because the dungeon divers is technically wrong. It's not all dungeons, it's specific ones.
It's
so why did they change
Gear
one, not the other?
acquisition. Yeah, that's really what it is.
It's get gear, right?
Right,
Is
right.
where
But
it's
why
at.
did they? But why did they just change that one and not the other one if they're both not correct?
If they named it Get Gear, would the Hydra chest also count? Because you get gear from that.
Well, not just that, but what about coming into the forge, right? So
In
that's
Sin City.
yeah. So that would all have to count into it, I think, if they went down that way, or they could just be really specific from dungeon farming or whatever. I still think that Ken has a very valid point on why this doesn't work that way.
But it's just
All they would
interesting.
have to do to fix that is just oils and or potions, because potion keeps or whatever, or Sand Devil coins and whatever. All they do is add a dungeon diver point value to whatever drop you get and just give that to you, right? So that would be the fix.
Also, why do you think they did it now? Like, I feel like they always do stuff for reasons. Like, they could have changed this a long time ago.
They
Like,
could
who
have,
was
but
really asking
the-
about this or cared about it? Were people saying stuff or like?
I don't know if people were saying stuff, but I would probably say that the whales are probably not spending as much on it anymore. Because
So what does it do with the name change?
Oh, are we talking about the artifact enhancement name change?
Yeah.
Um,
Like, why'd they change the gear name but not the other, like? Yeah, like I don't know, it's just weird.
I mean, I don't know if that one really. Either way, I think it kind of did the same thing. No.
It's just interesting. Like, I don't know, why did they like? What made them change the name of
Do you-
the event?
Do you
Of the
think
event.
maybe they'll add relics and relic upgrades into?
Oh,
That's what someone thought that this one was gonna be, but it's not yet. But maybe.
that could be it. That could be it.
Maybe they're testing
man.
it and coding it in the back end.
Yeah. Don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas.
But I mean, if you're gonna work on relics anyway, I mean, might as well get points
True.
for it, right?
True. Gessel, what about you? What warning do you have to Plarium about releasing this?
Releasing the
The
oil
mixer.
upgrade.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, all the points have been pretty solid so far. I would say that they I don't want to be a jerk.
Just do it.
I would just make sure it freaking works, man. Like, don't
There you
screw
go.
nothing up. Like, I mean, I don't think there's really this. It's not that big of an upgrade. So let's just knock it out, man. Make it easy. Let's move on.
Okay.
I don't know. There's bigger fish to fry. I don't feel like. I'm glad they're doing it, but they don't. You can't screw something like this up.
Okay.
In the summer, so long. Like, why is it taking so long?
Well, again, it's going to be their big thing of the year. Ken, what about
This? Oh god.
You guys pretty much mentioned everything. My biggest concern is the silver cost and like you mentioned, extract ratio. Hopefully they are not going to be extremely insane numbers, so we can get some benefit from this system, because if they are going to put some astronomical number there, what's the point of releasing this system, right? So
Right.
hopefully reasonable numbers we can see, not like a market. Like, man, pieces on the market are so expensive, dude.
10 million
And
silver
as-
is not.
In light of giving Plarium good feedback, what would you think is an acceptable amount of silver for this system?
I didn't think about it actually.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know. Crafton
This
one
is-
medium, maybe 10k. So if
Yeah.
you crafton like 10, 100k, right? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
so
reasonable.
that's basically what the ratio is currently right now for the potions.
Oh
so
yeah,
I've-
Yeah.
let them keep it.
I
Yeah.
f- I personally think it's very important that when we're making suggestions, it's like we have to be complete, as in, hey, we want this change to happen. We want to be able to like change the small oils into the bigger oils, or change it into dust for whatever. And then if we say, oh, but we forgot, we don't want to pay too much silver for it. Okay, what is a decent amount of silver that we are willing to pay for it? And I think this is very important stuff to include in our feedback to Plarium, because at the moment, like, we had a similar case with Trunda, right? Because people were saying, hey, we want Trunda to be nerfed. Well, we kind of got what we wanted. Trunda is nerfed, but everything else is also nerfed. But there's like so many things being said, and the
Little bit
feedback.
clarification about the Tranda. They didn't
Mhm.
nerf Tranda. They buff Hydra because of the Tranda. This is their word, not my word.
Well, let me put it like this: people were asking for a Trunda nerf. Trunda isn't doing as much damage as she was before. If you think this is a nerf or if it's not, that's up for debate.
I
But
mean,
she's not.
every other team got 90% nerf. Tranda team
Yeah.
got 20% nerf.
Yeah,
Well-
but the feedback was we want Trunda to be nerfed, which you did get. So
Right.
to avoid those situations, like they work with lawyer speak, right? They're like, oh, okay, you want this? Okay, we can give this to you, but it's like making a wish upon a monkey paw, right? You never really get what you want with them. So we need to be like very, very specific. Hey, this is what we want. This is acceptable. This is not acceptable. So this is something we
don't
need to
think that's
keep in mind.
reason, by the way. I think the reason they just don't listen us.
Well, they're clearly listening because these points that they have listed here, they didn't come out of nowhere.
If they listen us, they should be nerfed to Trana. They didn't nerf.
Well,
Trana.
I think
Like
they
I said,
listen,
buffed
but
Hydra.
they do things the way they see fit is going to be the best outcome, right? So we again, to Big's point, they do listen because this is some of the things that we have discussed. But to Ken's point, they're not going to do everything we say, which again raises Big's point of saying, well, maybe we need to give you more clear feedback instead of just saying nerf, 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 or change it to this. And I'm a big, I love to rant, right? But at the same time, it's, do I give a clear vision of what should change and how it should change? Not just rant about it. Let's talk a little bit about the Sand Devils and Shogun tournament. Now, the way I'm reading this is that it's going to be either or, right? So you're not going to have to farm just Sand Devils or just Shogun. I'm hoping I'm getting that right, but this tournament will happen. There is no ETA, and more information will be shared closer to the release date, which is going to be in 2028. Ken, what do you think?
Can you skip me? I'm gonna check one thing real quick.
Gestel.
Well, I think we've just been clamoring, like, why the heck is it always Sand Devils? Just give us a stupid Shogun tournament once in a while so we can farm that up and get a couple rewards out of it. So I think they're just gonna... They had it like once or twice. They definitely had at least one Shogun tournament. And then it's been a million Sand Devils since then, so... yeah, they just need to, like, alternate, in my opinion. Do, like, one Sand Devil, one Shogun.
Okay. Would you guys in chat, this is more specific to you guys, would you be more in support of doing one Sand Devils, one Shogun, like Gessel just suggested, or would you want to be able to do either or, right? Because there is some sort of, I guess, disparity between the turn dungeons, right, on how long it's going to take us. Obviously, I feel like Shogun may take longer than Sand Devils because we've seen some teams for Sand Devils that are, 10 turns. So I'm curious, what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see a combination of both, either or? And keep in mind that it most likely will be turn-based. Bick, question to you.
Well, just
Can I jump in? I just check. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was
ahead,
just going to say, I would prefer what you're saying, Blazin. I would prefer it be either or. I think it's going to be.
You think
one
it's
or
going to
the
be
other.
1 and 1?
But I would prefer what you're saying.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Ken.
because I just checked the release date of the Shogun. It's last year,
Okay.
1 year ago. And I like to ask the simple question: why everything on this company taken 1 year? Why it's taken 1 year to nerf Tranda? Why it's taken 1 year to release a counter for Taricha? Why we have to wait 1 year for the nerf in Armas? I'm waiting 2 months left.
No, well,
Why we are waiting 1 year for the release in Phantom Shogun tournament? Like why?
I
Like,
guess
just why?
I guess
Analytics.
it gives them analytics is what
What kind of analytic is that, man? Like, which analytic is showing them to nerf the Armas? I'm really curious. Like, which analytic showing them? Like,
People spending a lot of money to get him when he's in a summon rush event kind of thing.
he was
That's a good
fusion too,
analytic.
and if his fusion was very easy, everybody
Well-
pretty much get it.
Well, not
Well,
everyone
like-
played during every fusion, and some
That is
people
true.
actually skip. So,
But there's always gonna be like a next hot champion that people are gonna like go for.
I mean, there will be another one when we don't know, but yeah, I guess to Ken's point, a year is way too long to be able to just leave things hanging and not addressing them. But at the same time, we all know that what they value more, and it's brought the new ownership into Plarium, is their analytics, is the way that they run their things. Because MTG said this is one of the main reasons why we are purchasing this, because we want to see how this can impact every other game we own.
By the way, I
yeah.
don't think it's analytic. I asked that question to Polarium on the CC chat like 5, maybe 7 months ago. I really don't remember right now. Where is Phantom Shogun tournament? They said it's too early to release it. But at the same time, they are releasing event dungeon, and 1 week later there is a tournament. Like, how we are going to explain it?
True. Fair point. The event dungeon, I guess, is a limited time thing. Shogun isn't. But I will say that the event dungeon is not as difficult as Shogun to try to climb up. Wouldn't you say?
They nerf it too.
They did nerf it.
both of the- yeah.
They did nerf it, but I mean, how many people are out there still farming stage 25, or who is farming stage 25, right? I mean, they did give us Ninja and Newt, that does help, but again, I think we look at it as endgame players. We can pretty much climb to the highest stage no problem with any amount of time, but what about the 75% of the player base out there that isn't us, right? So I guess that's kind of
75% player also doesn't have any single mythical. Why you release a mythical champion then?
well
at this
that
point.
way. The release of the mythical champions is a gotcha thing where they want you to buy and spend. The
Exactly.
release of the Phantom Shogun is to climb up to enhance your account, right?
I mean, you can also get the tournament reward to farming on the low level, man. Not every single player on the game, like for example, Dragon tournament farming on the stage hard 10.
That's true. But
yeah, I mean,
again,
that's why there's a stages. You need to farm the best stage for your level. You don't need to go like, let's say you start 1 week ago, you cannot do like high stage, of course. Doesn't
But-
matter which tournament though.
That very true. But again, the end goal is to get to that higher stage, because that is where the best ratio of drop rates are, right? Obviously, at some point, if they're only farming stage, 8 or 9, they're only going to be able to get the lower oils, and you can't touch any of the dust
Not with the
until stage
mixer.
25. Not with the mixer. We hope.
Yeah.
Bick, what about you? Sand Devils tournament and Shogun. Are you for it, against it, and do you think it's going to be an either or 1 and 1?
What I hope is that they keep them split. I think if we had the choice of being able to do both during a tournament, I think that would push a lot of people out of ever being able to compete in these tournaments, because you will have people going absolutely insane in how much energy they spent in these tournaments. What I would like to see is that they are currently, like always, mixing the Sand Devil tournaments with the Prism pools, and I would like it if they mixed Shogun with Soul pools when we have like a Soul pool event.
Okay.
I think that would be a good way to go about it.
Okay. That's not a bad idea, actually. Gessel, what about you? And I want to throw one little extra thing here for you guys out there. What about if they split it between levels 1 through 50 and 51 to 100? Basically, the level 1 through 50s would be able to do both, because they probably don't have a well-developed account. And then everybody else from 51 and up could do either or. But Gessel, what do you think?
Wait, what's the original question now?
So the original question, are you for the dungeons? Well, sorry, I asked you about that. My bad. I'm going to have to skip you on this.
Okay, yeah.
I asked you on that. PJ.
Excuse me. I think keeping them split would be better. I mean, if they do them combined, I don't mind, but I think keeping them split every other week, or every week, would be the opposite. Every other week would be good. Like if you, I mean, Sand Devil and Shogun, they did make it easier, but it's also like late end game stuff to do 25, 24. But same thing with the event dungeon. I mean, that 300 speed Kaja is no joke. They hit pretty hard, so it's tough to do level 30. I mean, if your account can't do it, your account can't do it. But I'm happy that they're finally doing it. Like Ken mentioned, it's kind of funny that I think the reason they said they haven't done the Shogun tournaments is it hasn't been the game long enough, but they put the event dungeon and the event like in like right after. So it's like awkward. Like you clearly can put them in sooner than what you say. But yeah, I'm glad it's coming. About time, and it's definitely needed.
Okay. Zero, what about yourself?
So, question on the turn count counter. If you aren't running a turn count run or event or something like that, is it still count the turns on most of the content?
You mean if the dungeon itself? Or...
Yeah, like Sand Devil's doing right now is counting turns, but does it
Yep.
still count the turns?
Yeah.
On
so
like,
it's-
if you go to Dragon right now, is it counting the turns?
yeah, it has the only dungeon that doesn't have a turn count, I believe, right now is the event dungeon.
Okay, so the event dungeon Minotaur doesn't,
Yep.
and Phantom Shogun does not. So I just verified that. So that's why I asked the question. So it's possible why it's taking this long is they never coded it in. And they had bigger fish to fry probably than to port over the turn counter counter or whatever. So that's possibly why they never did it. I'm just glad it's coming. I think we do need it. And to answer your original question, don't want to see them combined. I think because they're so different, right? Like I'm farm, for food. I do the Blizzard combo. I think I learned that from you, Blazin. So shout out to that video. But and so that's just a completely different run. And I actually my clan leader just took over the account last night to help me like redo my Chimera and some other stuff. But he redid my Phantom Shoguns. I have like a 24-second team now. So it's just two totally different runs. So I would think if it's like turn count, you could totally manipulate it. Like I would never run Sun Devils because the solo run takes 150 turns, where the Shogun takes maybe 10 turns or something like that. So yeah, I hope they keep them separate.
Okay. My major concern with this is now how much more energy we're gonna have to sink into the events, because we already have to, they do a great job at keeping us busy. I still look back to that one day that we had nothing going on in game, and the player base was like on fire. They were like, we can't do anything. There's no dungeons going. There's no events. There's no this. There's no that. And the player base was pretty, adamant about let's not have that again. But now at this point, now we have too much going on. And I guess the bigger question is going to be, where do we start prioritizing on our energy, especially free-to-play players, right? So that's my, I guess, my caution with that one is where we're going to have to go with. All right, so the next thing that really I kind of said at this point is like, wait, there's an if on if we're going to get it, is friendly unranked arena battles. And we're not talking about classic arena, we're talking about live arena. We haven't forgotten this. As we've mentioned, it's a feature that both you, the community, and we would love to see in Raid. But before we move forward, we're excited to roll out live arena sessions and see how you enjoy it. Depending on how it goes, unranked battles might become a reality. Why? Why is it depending? Why is that word in there? Why is it not, hey, we're going to do arena seasons first, and then later down the year, we're going to do friendly battles? I think out of all the things, this probably pissed me off the most. And I'll share in a minute why I had to give them a break this week and not go after them as hard as I wanted to. But let's go with PJ first. PJ, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, what is it depending? Like, is it depending if the live arena seasons go well, then they're gonna do it, or they're gonna say because the season went well, they're not gonna do it, or if the seasons don't go well, they're gonna do it, or like what is it depending on? And the other thing is like they're two totally separate things. Like you can have seasons, you can have private matches, and I think both would be great successes. Great success. But yeah, the depending is what really made me upset as well. I think that the seasons is gonna be awesome. I think seasons in these games are good, and I think the private matches are even better almost. It gives a lot for the community to do. I think we could host things. I think a lot of CCs have been talking about like hosting private like arena tournaments and stuff like that, which would be really great for the community. More content. But yeah, what are we depending on? It should be totally separate, like
You
things.
said it. You said it. They're two totally different things.
Yeah.
I think they need to do the reset in seasons first, and then depending if they have the bandwidth to code in the freebie, is that's probably why they put the disclaimer in there.
No,
I completely agree.
It's not the
needed.
bandwidth. It just needs to happen. I imagine.
Okay, but here's the thing: would you rather being able to do your potions, or would you rather have friendly live arena? They can only do so much, right? So
That's not true.
That's the depending.
I
mean,
guess,
that's
okay,
Bick.
the-
Bick knows all about the life cycles of software
what?
development. Bick, what do you say?
Let's go to Bick next. Bick, give us your take.
Yeah. So the moment I read this in the back of my head, I was immediately thinking, okay, they probably have like a developer team or that's like very small, and they probably have like one senior dev that is like very smart and intelligent, and he can probably like implement this stuff in like a week or two, maybe a day, depending on how good he is. The problem they probably have is this guy is probably being put on so many side projects that he's not able to work on all these things at the moment, because I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I've heard that they want to migrate the game to Unreal Engine. So this also means that Raid Shadow Legends is going to continue existing for years to come, because they want to get rid of the Unity engine that they're currently using. And 100% you're going to put like the most senior developer you have on this. And this probably has a deadline. And they're probably dedicating the majority of their time to this project. Plus, they are in an they just got they just had like an acquisition that happened. So there's like a lot of like overhead coming on top, on the shoulders of like whoever is in a senior position. So they probably imagined that when they decided, hey, we want to do this, this was probably like weeks or months ago. And now the guy's like, I can't do this. I have too much work to do. I simply can't. And I think that's where we're getting this from. That's why we're getting this, hey, we don't know if this is actually going to come. It's going to depend on other things. So
Okay.
that's what I think about it.
Yeah, and what I think is they see absolute value in it, which is why they even mention it, right? They see value. It's one of those customer service things. I think it would absolutely help the investment on the content creator program side of the house, right? Like it just allows the content creator to create all brand new content and make it and let them run it. And all of a sudden people are watching it and getting more invested, like, oh, I want to play the game because I want to be involved in this tournament. So that's a huge win. But I think Bick hit the nail on the head. Like they can only do so much. And at the end of the day, are they gonna, if they're doing this, Unity engine swap over, is that more important than giving friendly battles? Right. I think they're both very valid, but valid for two different reasons, right? So
Yeah. Well,
To add to
I'm
this?
gonna go ahead.
To add to this, I saw a comment in chat where somebody said, Darren said, $1 billion lifetime turnover all on one guy. This is so incredibly common. You'd be surprised. Like one of the previous company that I worked at, I'm not allowed to say how much turnover we had, but it was a very, very large number. And basically, there was this inside joke where even the business owners, they said, nobody tell X that if he would ever stop, then the company would basically just go bankrupt, because that guy basically did everything. And if he wanted to like do this, but he didn't because there's like a special type of people that usually have these positions, and they're kind of happy with what they have and they don't want more. But basically, if he wanted to like get out of the company, they would basically just be willing to give him bags of money on a monthly basis just to keep him there. So
Okay.
these people are more proliferant at companies with like very big turnovers, and it is kind of common. It's kind of weird to see sometimes.
Yeah, every company I feel has their, ace in the hole that can do almost everything. That's kind of like my wife at her job. She's like the number one at doing everything she does because she's just that good at it. So, but I want to point, I guess the bigger reason why this it just came off so bad, and I'm going to pick here on Rosoria's comment and you on the Twitch side, is they didn't need to be so vague and ambiguous about it, right? I think that is the biggest problem is, well, it may happen, it may not happen, but we're not giving you a clear communication as to why it may or may not happen, right? Which I guess then says, well, if it doesn't go well with seasons, then we'll introduce it. Then everybody doesn't play seasons, and then they're forced to introduce it. So I can see why they put it that way. But that is really the big kind of just kind of rub it right in there to us. Like, yeah, we're thinking about it. Gessel, what about you? Oh, sorry, Ken.
No, you can continue.
Gessel, what about you?
We're talking about the friendly battles,
the live
right?
arena friendly battles, yeah. Depending
Keep
on
going
how
off on
things go.
tangents. Yeah. So here's how I interpreted it, and it's probably it's a bit negative. I take it almost like we need to bring in seasons because we feel like live arena is dead. And if seasons doesn't do it, then we're not putting time in on anything else regarding that. That's how I read it, and I don't like reading it like that because I love live arena.
I'm going to give you a different viewpoint, if that's okay.
Yeah,
I think you're half right. I think it's we have people that are spending a lot of money, and they're like our top spenders, but they're not interested in live arena, and we want them to be included in live arena. So we want to give them.
That's kind of how I meant it. That's kind of how I meant it. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah. Well, but I regardless, if they care more about the player enjoyment in the game over the whales or whatever, they should have added it a year ago. It would be the most fun part of the game. Like,
right.
If you could do PvP without caring about what happens, much more people would be involved in it.
Agreed.
So I think they should do it regardless.
Agreed. Hey, Bick, can you blink twice, please?
I already did.
Okay. Ken, what about you? What do you think?
I mean, actually, maybe they are thinking like friendly, unranked arena type battle, live arena. Actually, like real time.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So maybe that's why they are dependent on the live arena season system. They mention it. To be honest, all I want is like just attack my friend defense, test it. Friendly, doesn't need to be live arena. Live arena much fun, obviously, but even the offline game, I'm okay with that, because sometimes friends tell me, "Hey, bro, I'm in the platinum. Find me." I'm gonna find you, man. Like I'm gonna spend lots of the gems for the refreshing the page.
I agree with that. I think that should be implemented. There's other games like Watcher Rums that has it where you can test people's defenses.
Bro, every single gacha game have that. Even there is 10 active player.
Yeah.
There is not even friend system on this game.
I agree. And
Yeah,
I think the live arena one though is the best one. And I think I'm gonna I'm gonna point out Suss's message here, where it's I would try a lot harder against my friends than I would against some randos, because when I go up against one of you guys, I do try. I'm like, shit, I need to try to win this, just because of the bragging rights mostly. Just say that
By the
I
way, can
won,
I-
but go ahead.
Don't
Can
face
I also say
Gestel.
something to the Bigot's words about the one developer? I'm seriously thinking there is one developer working on this game, by the way. But it's not
Yeah.
because of that. It's not because of that they are moving to Unreal Engine or whatever. If they are doing something like that big, they should mention that. They need to be more clear. I don't know the reason, but I'm seriously thinking there is only one developer working for the coding the game, you know. But at the same time, if they have like multiple developer and like the bigots say, they recently moved on for the next project, big project, Unreal Engine 5. That's why there is a little bit developer. Then why there is a still developer exists to release more 9-piece 2-bit gears in the game? Why there is a still developer exists releasing stupid rebalance? Why there is still stupid champion they are keep releasing on the game? Why this developer team also not moving to Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, the thing is,
Money.
it's usually not the developers that make the decisions. It's usually the product owners, the product managers, so the people that have to like go by numbers and stuff, that will tell the developers what they need to work on. Problem is, these people tend to be very, very stupid and have no technical knowledge. So
Unfiltered, raw.
Yeah.
Just there we go.
yeah, I'm just gonna say it how it is. Like everyone who has worked in IT basically has. If you haven't, then you're extremely privileged. But I think the majority of people that have worked in IT, they have seen a product owner or a product manager that has like no technical background. They have no skills. They have no clue what they're on about, and they don't really familiarize themselves with the product from a user perspective. They only know like the important keywords that are relevant for the marketing lingo, and they just say this needs to be done. I think this is important, and you can't really have a back and forth with them in a sensible way, even though you know the pain points as a developer or whatever your positions is. You are not in a position of power to make the decision.
I 100% agree with you. I believe they know how to coding working. You know, they know how to say write hello world at least, right? But you know what they don't know? They have no idea about this game. They have no idea about how this game working, bro. That's what I'm gonna say. They have no idea releasing stupid relics on this game, how broken this game will become. They have no idea what is Sifi A1 doing. They have no idea about Maricha Heal doing. That's
Yeah.
the part they don't know.
I'm gonna
They have
disagree.
no idea.
I think they do know, because it causes frustration and aggravation, right? And what happens is non-free-to-play players, pay-to-win players or spenders, are when a C-Feed 10x comes up or a progressive chance, are gonna be like, you know what? I want to be that guy that did that thing that Ken did to me to the next guy. Okay, that's what they know. That's exactly.
I had the very pleasant experience yesterday in Tag Team Arena of playing against a guy who had 2 Chrono Cubes on his account.
Ooh.
So I basically had my Yumeko lock out his entire team, and then his Harima took 3 turns, and my team was dead. Then I had the pleasure of facing off his Thor, who took 3 turns, so he went A3, A2, you're basically revive, then A1, you're dead. So yeah, I kind of agree with what Ken is saying. Like, you have a difference between like knowing the code base and like how things work on a technical level and being able to implement them. And there's a difference between actually implementing something fun that is healthy for the game. And yeah, so I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it's, as a developer, you get you get handed a note basically saying you need to implement Chrono Cube. You need to implement Sheep. And even though you know this is bad for the game from like a player perspective and stuff, if you refuse it, they're gonna fire you and they're gonna hire someone else who's gonna do it. So
Can I
yeah,
clarification something by the way? By the way, my thing is like not to direct the developer team. You know, it can be like the guy head of them, say them
Yep.
to do that. You know, my word is the guy who give this stupid decision. By the way,
Yep.
speaking of that, you got a good point about the relics. I like to ask you guys question, like chat, you guys as well. Don't we all agree we need some visual warning before we facing the guy? What kind of relic he is using? Because yesterday I was doing Taktim Arena. Two of the enemies was using aspect of the Sirat, and I attacked them. They are like not take a damage at all. I'm like, what? What is that? Like, you know, there is a ship. We can see the enemy have a ship, right? Blessing.
Yep.
We are like, okay, they have a ship. Like, let's not use the debuff or prepare for that, right? Use the pinpoint, you know. Relics random. Like everybody eventually going to get this mythical and the legendary relics, right? Like it's gonna happen. And-
I personally can't wait to have like full teams with Wand of Submission on both sides, and then the Sheep going back and forth.
Oh wow, is that gonna be domino effect?
That-
Server serverdan.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
fully agree with Ken on this one, and my dream team to have in Arena is like one team with 4 aspects of Sirit, just to see how mad people get. That's yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that's. I think I got 2 on my main account right now, so maybe we'll have some fun with that. Zero, what about you?
Yeah, so I don't even remember what the original question was.
The depending on how things will come out.
Yeah, so the depending, yeah. So I think I've addressed that. The one thing I did want to chime in on this past the depending part is with seasons, if they're just going to reset and give us a reward at the end, and then we have to climb back into it or whatever, that's cool. Gessel and I have been on the same page on this one. I would really love the MOBA aspect of picks and bans. I think they really should considering there's over 1,000 champions in the game, the ability to allow us to ban certain champions. So in honor of Bick here, let's explain exactly what we mean, Playerm, if you happen to catch this clip, right? So at the start of a fight, you have the ability to ban potentially 2 champions, and maybe you design it where players can pick 4 champions. So, and it'll go in order 1 through 4, in case we both pick, right? So if I'm fighting Blazin, maybe we both pick Armands because we hate Armands. All right. Well, if he gets the first pick, it bans his, and then it moves on to my second pick, and so on and so forth, right? And then we have a round where we pick, and then when we get into that middle one before the 4 and the 5 slot, or the 3, 4, and 5 slot get selected, depending, you have one more round where you can ban an additional champion, right? So this allows the super crazy meta champions to get kind of picked off from being picked. Your Armands, your Marius, you know, for example, or even better, if you have a really cool team comp, but you know the rat is going to take you down because you're in stone skin, or you don't want them to go first. You want to get rid of the arbiter. Well, you can allow the banning phase to allow you to pick your perfect team, right? So I think that's just a layer of depth and strategy that would be amazing, and I would love for a player to consider something like this, along with the season resetting and letting us climb up the ladder too. But I think Live Arena would be really good for a refresh from that perspective.
I'm going to follow that up with a comment here from Potato Jack. Live Arena already takes a big chunk of time between the banning phases, picking phases, going and this and that. I think while that may be a good implementation, it's going to add per the fight. And one of the biggest things is I left World of Warcraft because it was such a huge time sink for me to be able to do my raids, my dungeons and stuff like that, and came to raid because it was more like I can set it, walk away, and kind of come back to it. So I think that, while again, that would be a great thing to implement, I think it might also cause problems with the timing.
Well, that's true too. But if you go into it pre-picked, right, that 1 through 4 slot I just described, that could happen
Yep.
instantaneously. It would take 0 picks. I think you're right. It would add a little bit of extra time because that middle pick, you're going to want to say, oh, they took Siffy, let me ban Rodos, or they took, Marisha, let me ban Taras type
Right.
thing. So you're right. That potentially could slow things down a little bit, but I think that would be. That change would be a good enhancement for a little bit of what, extra 30 seconds, minute.
I would be
But you're
more
right.
supportive.
It is a pain in the ass with the time.
I would be more supportive if each season had ban picks picked by Plarium. I think that would be a better idea. I think that would be like, okay, this season you can't use Rodos, you can't use Alaz, and you can't use Taras, right? So now you
That
have to
would work
build
too.
other champions on the account, and then next season you can't use Armands or whatever like that. I think that would be a better implementation of something to have, because there's other games like Overwatch, which has that kind of implementation into it, right?
Well, and fair point, and just flushing that idea out, I think that's a valid point, because if you end up fighting the same person over and over again, you find out, oh, he has more Marishka and Taras, for example. I'm going to always ban the Marishka because I know that Zero Brew has Marishka, for example. And because not everybody has all the champions in the game, that probably would be a better thing. Yeah, have different seasons where you can't play with these champions. You have Siffy's
Right.
banned for the whole season. Armands is banned for the lifetime of Live Arena forever and ever. Amen. Okay, I'm done.
I
All
saw
right.
you playing Armas on the live arena.
Have to play with Armands.
Come
you
on,
have
man.
to block people from picking it against you. I mean, that's just the
Look,
way
I'm
it
not
is.
picking Armas. I've never picked Armas.
Imagine not
No.
having Armands and never
I have
banning
two.
Armands.
I have two.
No, you just pick Marius or, just a Sifi abuser. That's enough.
Every live arena match, I'm fighting against Armand, Siffy, Marius. So
Odin.
Yeah.
no, I'm the
they
one
have-
picking Odin. I'm picking
Oh.
Odin.
Oh, nice.
Oh, so you're that guy.
I'm that guy. Yeah. You can have your Siffy, you can have your Marius, you can have your Armands. I'll pick Odin.
I'll take my Nias, thanks.
Oh,
But
sure.
you're right. They have the numbers, and maybe they say, this season the top 10 picked champions across all live arena fights are banned next season, and then of
Yeah.
course they would be eligible the following season because of course they'd be banned and couldn't be picked. So then you get the next 10. That'd be cool. I'd be down for something like that.
All right, but if you would do this, you would have basically alternating seasons, because you would have the 10 champions that would be OP, and then next season you would have the 10 other champions that are OP,
Right.
and they would always be alternating. So
well, I'm not
this is
saying
already
alternate,
introducing.
but I'm
Yeah,
saying different. Like
but-
each rotation would be different.
The thing with
Yeah.
that, the Overwatch, everyone has every character, so it's a little different.
Right.
That is true, and Overwatch is a skill based game. But again, I feel like
I honestly think the best change they can do to Live Arena is just lower the big ban meter. Just have it be shorter. I think that's the best
Okay.
change they can do.
Yes.
okay,
I was gonna say that earlier that when you guys talking about reducing time, they could just lower how much time it takes in between stuff.
okay.
They could go to instead of a minute and 30, they could do 30 and 15 seconds, I think.
I actually need
I-
more time, man.
Sometimes
the
I
enemy
get
plays,
screwed
like,
up.
Full plus.
But
for
if
full
you're
champion.
actually paying attention, you only really need
mean,
a couple seconds.
I
You know what
pretty
they could
much
do?
know
I just-
my team right off the bat when I go in. I have my specific 8-9 champions, and those are the ones that I play with 99% of the time.
That's what I'm saying.
You know
That's
what I
I'm saying.
think would be a good fix for all of that is when you select, because again, it doesn't lock it until you hit the lock in button, right? But like, let's say you pick it and you forget or you misclick or something like that, and you're multitasking like I do. I'm watching someone else on Twitch or whatever. Like maybe there's a pop up that says, "Hey, you selected your 2 champions. Did you want to lock it in?" That'd be kind of cool. Because
Okay.
you're right. If it's 60 seconds and I select mine in the first 5 seconds, I'm making the other person wait 55 seconds when it could just pop up at, after 5 more seconds. Say, hey, boom, that would be cool.
Also, I don't really play Live Arena, but one nice thing would be making you could switch the position of the champs, because sometimes you want people in certain orders, but it's let's say
Right,
your
you
last
can only
champion
pick
pick
the
as a
lead.
6-star sheep, right? but you want him in
Right.
second, like you should be able to change the positions of your champs.
That makes sense. I want to put this question out to chat. T-Bone here says there needs to be a button to report auto drafters. Chat, are you in support of this or not? Do you want a button in there to report people like Ken, who sits there and sees he's A1 just because you're frustrated? Or would you actually be, would you really use it to report people that are just setting it and walking away? I really want to see people's like, yes, now we want it now.
The first thing that came to my mind is, how can you say this? Plarium's favorite CC, Nubraid, suggested doing this.
To his
This was
defense,
This was his first suggestion when the change came out. He was like, you can easily do live arena, just don't do anything and let the person opposite of you suffer for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's what I also recommended people, because live arena bonus are very important and they need to do it. They say they hate live arena, but just go live arena, just don't do anything. Let the game play.
So here's the thing. I disagree and agree with it. If you're going to just not do anything in live arena and you want to take the loss, then just go in, lose, and get out. Don't be that guy that frustrates and aggravates and takes up 10 minutes of my time, because I will tell you, 10 minutes of my time is worth a lot more to be spent with my kids or at work or doing something else. Like I definitely agree the frustration is there for Otto just walking away. Right. I've had to go and it's been done against me. Now, the flip side is if you're going to pick your 10 champions, if you're going to pick your 5 champions and you want to just, actually give the guy a win, fine. Pick your 5 champions and then just pick naked champions and then just say, okay, cool. You get to go first. You get to nuke me. We're done. Right. But I don't think that an auto just setting it, walking away is a good thing for the game. I think that's being very toxic, and I do not support that.
Oh, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is there a difference between if you just hit auto, like isn't the auto instant? Or are you talking about when they don't click auto, they let it go all the way down to the timer? They just let it
go. They run down the clock to frustrate.
Because you could click auto, and then that would go instantly. Though there's a difference.
Yeah, but
that
PJ,
is fine.
They do it in the draft. So the moment you hit champion select, you just let the full minute
right. Yeah.
So what they would do is they would come in here.
So that's the opposite of hitting auto. That's not hitting auto.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
They should hit auto.
Right.
Yeah, but there's no auto select for champions.
Not for select, right.
There should be for selecting, but yes, I agree 100% that there needs to be some sort of issue for that.
But in the actual game, I'm talking about you can hit auto and walk away, and it would go fine.
But basically what people are doing is they hit battle, they put down their phone, and then they
walk away.
They go walk the dog or whatever, and then they come back, and then they hit auto again, and then they go make a cup of coffee, and then so
that's toxic.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the siege part. Calling all clan leaders. We've passed along your information or your feedback, including the suggestions to control clan leaders' concerns about boosting and request dedicated lists of attacking. Developers have promised to explore possible options to further improve this game mode. Now, Siege is kind of one of those game modes where it's like you prepare for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. You do your 5 battles or 3 battles, and are over and done with in less than 10 minutes. It could be so much more, but this can be a step in the right direction. But I'm going to lead this off to Ken, who decided that he was no longer going to become a clan leader because of Siege. So Ken, take it up.
Man, this is stupidly complex content. And from what I understand it, hey guys, beta test is complete. Thank you for the entering. Thank you for the giving us feedback. It's going to take some time to collect this feedback. We are going to release a full Siege 1.0.
Okay.
Yeah, we was beta tester, free beta tester.
Okay. PJ?
I think it has a lot of potential. It really depends on the clan I feel like for how Siege is going and how much time they're putting into it, I think some clans is just a free for all. Just go find a defense, whatever defense you like, put it in, and if someone took the defense you like, I'm sorry, find another one. And then you have clans that are putting hours and hours and hours and hours behind the scenes, like figuring out what's the best defense for each account, trying to like min max and all that stuff. So it'd be nice if the clan leaders would have more power and like the admins, the deputies to be able to maybe distribute, maybe move people around. I know we talked about that earlier, and there were some issues, but I think giving them some more power would be nice.
Okay. Let's go to Bick.
I personally don't care for Siege. I think it's just another form of tag team arena with bullshit added on top. As long as they don't have a replay functionality, I don't think this game mode matters to me. I'll just put in my defenses, and yeah, we're beta testing this for them, and it's very obvious. And yeah, I don't know what there's to say about it. I think the most requested thing is give us an option to see the battles that happened instead of like having people just see the battle log and then see, oh, you lost 50 million times against this team, and then having people in the clan asking, was he using stone skin? How fast is your arbiter, etc. It is just another entire work job for the person who's responsible for Siege. That should not be the case.
Okay. Okay, so it's not active yet. I'm like, wait a minute, why is the event active and I can't pull yet? All right.
Another thing I want to say about Siege is apparently there's a clan that is clan hopping. They have like 2 clans.
Yeah.
And then when it's Siege, they move to the other clan. I think this needs to be addressed. The fact that this is possible is so silly. Like,
well,
Next season, man. Next season.
So they fight. That's what happens, right? They siege hop, but what they lose is the mana orbs. So they have to donate the mana orbs before they leave. So each clan. But yeah, I totally understand that and don't agree with it. Gestel, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is almost exactly what we asked for at the beginning. Just being able to at least have someone, at least the clan leader be able to move, if not like all the sub leaders be able to move people around, or just have a little bit more control, so it's not, you got one guy that sticks a team in like a position you don't want them to put it in, and you can't do anything about it. You can't get in touch with them. It just becomes very frustrating. So this would make it would make it better. I feel like if you are able to rely more on getting something like this set up between like 3 or 4 people as opposed to 30 people, the success is probably going to be a lot higher. So I hope they do it. I hope it gets done soon. Did they put a time frame or something on it? But
They have not.
I think
They're not
this
giving
is
us any time frames for anything as of right now.
Yeah, there's kind of a couple things with Siege though too. Like I don't understand why they didn't allow arena speed leads to be there. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like, what are they going to start introducing auras for Siege now?
Can I say something real quick, Gesta?
Yeah.
By the beginning of the Siege, Arena Auras was working.
Yes.
I agree. I know. I remember that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then they fixed it, right?
Well, I
So,
think we
like,
might be getting Siege Aura soon.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
hope
like,
not.
there's 1,000 champs, and we're gonna now start getting champs with Aura, and then like maybe one of them, and then over the next year will be worthy of like playing an arena. So, either revert a lot of the other people's to, not a lot, but a handful of people to Siege from whatever they're at, or
I also
just
wonder.
revert to how it was at the beginning.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah, no problem.
because of the aura thing, I wonder if because they have the splash background with Gizmek, Faina on one side fighting against a mythic and a faction leader on the other side. So I do wonder if their intent was to have Siege basically be like this big thing where the faction unity champions would also shine. Because if you look at champions like Fina, they have like an old battle aura for that faction, and then you have the notes with, oh, you can only use this faction. So
you think they were definitely trying to work with the Unity champions to be more of a thing? Okay.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure, for
yeah.
sure. You have the limitations of only using Orc or only using it was like set up for Siege.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of my teams that I use almost every single siege is my Taras, Marichka, Kaja, and Aceland, and it very rarely will go down, and that's mostly because of just a OP kind of setup right there.
Also, can I add one more thing?
Yep.
I saw a comment about like if you watch your replays and your defense loses, you can't do anything. Like, yeah, you can't do anything for that one, but you can change the builds for the future. You can also see, did you lose to a 3%? Was it a random sheep? Why did you lose? Like, there's a lot of value to being able to see your replays, even if you did lose for that time.
Right, and I was actually gonna hit that one off at the end because that was Rip Rad, not Rip Rad. Sorry, that was Feed Me. So there's what you can learn from that, right? Because let's face it, all Arena is pretty much rinse and repeat of classic Arena. It hasn't changed other than live Arena, right? So you can see what everybody's using, what abilities they're using, what forms they're using to take down what you have, which could also help you kind of fix your builds to, mitigate that down the line. Zero, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think Siege just needs to be reworked. I think what Plarium really needs to do is speed up the game, because I think when they gave us Siege, I know that was our big contention, was that it better not require a lot of time and energy, because Live Arena and all these other things have required so much more times. I know they're going to give us Insta Hydra keys potentially down the road too. But I think they listened to that and they gave us Siege, and it's a very, very light lift. But I think what PJ said was there's a lot of potential here. And I go back in my days of Guild Wars 2 and the CVC like action, and you would take different points on the map that would help generate the orbs and the things. If you held those spots and things, I would love to see more of something like that, to be a little bit more involved. But they got to speed up the game to do that. The one thing I really like about Siege currently is when you do get the mana orb towers, you can go back in for the rebattles to earn a little bit of extra resources. I do like that they clip your 2 runs with your different champions, right? So it kind of forces you to use your roster in full.
Right.
And I like that because, we all know it. If you have your Marius and your Taras and your Marishka, you're always going to use them because they're just so much better than all the other ones. But the mechanic where Siege cuts that out and you're forced to use, let me use my Ragash, or let me use my Volcanos and build other teams using these cool things. That's the thing I like to do the most, is experiment with different arena teams and stuff, right? But again, it's so hard to do that when you're forced to use, these are the best. The best of the best. I got a Final Kenpachi cheese, the Siffy, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I really just hope that they put more consideration into this, speed up other areas of the game, maybe make us do this a little bit more and let it be more exciting and fun. I like the idea of the whole clan participating too. But yeah, that's all I gotta say with that.
Testing defenses too. We've mentioned that before, but being able to test your defenses in the like prep, there's like 5-6 days of prep. Like, we should be able to test our teammates' defenses.
You could just build 2 Tarases and that would solve the problem for you, or just dupe champions, Build 2 Armandas. No. Actually, I haven't used my second Taras in so long. He's probably naked. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Hydra. Now, they acknowledge that Hydra is no longer enjoyable for us, right? They said that the quick battles are going to come. Designers are currently working to fix AI gameplay. I guess my big thing to that is I want to ask you, what is going to make Hydra enjoyable again? Chat, for you guys, what is going to be the number one thing that you guys would want to make you spend more time in Hydra? And I'm going to lead this one off with the guy that's got the biggest smile right now, Bick.
Yeah, for me this is so easy. I have no problem with Serpent's Will. I have a problem with Poison Clouds,
Yeah.
because having a random Poison Cloud go up because a Serpent's had spawned and something like RNG happening, that is the problem of Hydra at the moment. Serpent's Will you can play around because you know exactly what's going to happen with Serpent's Will. The problem is when you add the random Poison Cloud out of nowhere. I think if they reduced Poison Cloud to one turn or made it the Hydra head take more damage, because at the moment I think it's just straight up frustrating. When you're like in a run, you're like 45 minutes in, you're like an hour in, and you used your block attacks and everything went the way you wanted it to, and then you do too much damage, you kill a bunch of heads, a poison head spawns with the clan set, and they have Serpent's Will, and there's nothing you can do. You don't have any block buffs or burns or whatever mechanic you have, and the poison cloud goes up, followed by the consume, and there you go. Please reset your run. An hour wasted.
So they gave you a solution to that, and that was Sulfurion.
Yeah. I am sorry for not having this very, very specific Void Lego in every single Hydra team. I am so
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
Totally my bad.
They buff
Saoirse.
Saoirse for that.
They
Yeah.
buff
They buff
Saoirse for that
Saoirse,
too.
yeah. But
That's-
you can
that's
also
only a
only have one
$500
Saoirse.
champion.
Oh,
That's
true.
that's only a $500 champion. So between
Yeah.
Saoirse and Sulfurion, there you go. You got two of your teams done.
Yeah. So basically, you're already saying that if you're not playing these two champions out of 1,000 champions, then don't bother. That, like, why not cater it for the 998 other champions in the game? Why cater it for these two champions?
Yep.
And these are yeah. That's my point.
Fair point. PJ, what about you? What would make Hydra more enjoyable for you?
So it's gonna be a tough question, or I guess tough answer for Polarium, because I think the biggest thing that people like is big numbers, and I think Polarium, that's what they didn't like, was us getting huge, like billions and trillions of damage. So I'd say the biggest thing would be to, I guess, the decapitated heads, change that back to have no health and just like Terminator based. It's gonna add more damage to the runs, but I mean, I think that's what players like to see. I think they like seeing big damage numbers, especially for Hydra. And I'm not sure why Playerm was really against that. I mean, it was getting like crazy, so I think there needed to be a change. Obviously, what they changed wasn't really what we were looking for, but yeah, I think that would be a big enjoyment factor. Would be being able to just do more damage.
Okay.
Can I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
PJ just reminded me. Do you know which champion doesn't really suffer from having poison clouds on the heads? Trunda.
Trunda.
Yeah.
Trunda. She puts up the burns, and her A2 deals so much damage. If the poison cloud goes up, she just kills all the heads anyway. So
Nerfed version or the before you talking?
the nerfed version.
Oh.
My
yeah.
Trunda right now, like poison cloud goes up, and it's like A2, everything's gone.
Okay. Gessel, what about yourself? What would make Hydra more enjoyable?
I'm gonna steal from I've read from someone in chat, but I mean I've been saying this since the beginning. Just go back to the way it was, man. Like I feel like people were actually starting to enjoy it. Nerf Trunda, they should definitely do that. But go back to the way it was, man. Like I was actually kind of having fun with Hydra before they changed everything. So that's what I would say.
Okay.
All this new stuff, man.
Zero, what about yourself?
Give us the stupid keys and let me run it in 3 seconds and forget the mode even exists. I mean,
So you just want
that's just
auto battle, instant battles.
yeah, just screw it. I mean, they ruined the game mode, like everybody said. Like, who cares? Give me that time back. I'll take that hour and a half back every week running it, and let me run it in 3 minutes. I'll be done.
Okay. Ken?
Two suggestion. All right. One of them, Control Z. Go to Randa, hit the delete button. That's the Control S to save the project. That's the suggestion number one. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Changes to databases are saved immediately, Ken. There's no Control S.
Oh, that's funny.
And another thing, I agree with the Big Oz actually about this one. Poison Cloud recently, I mean, after they changed the Hydra, become a big problem. Why? Why it wasn't a big problem? Poison Cloud always in the game, right? Because the recent changes they make after we kill the Hydra heads, cut their head actually, not kill them. When we deal enough damage on them, they just instantly reborn. Previously, they wasn't. So why it's making a problem? Because they reborn before our skill is ready. And to prevent that, my suggestion on them, put their skill on the cooldown at least one turn when they come back the life with this method, you know? When we force them to come back, put their skill on the cooldown one turn. Because man, like I don't know what kind of AI going on there, but I think they are cooking AI more than ChatGPT or the like DeepSeek from China. I have no idea what's going on. Like this son of a Poison Cloud is coming like unbelievable timing. He's waiting his friend to born. Then after that he's casting his skill. Like how is that possible, man?
They changed that recently. You noticed that?
Yeah. Did you guys also notice that there's like combinations of heads when one head spawns? There's a very high chance the partner head will spawn.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed that?
Decay and the head of mischief.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
There seems to be like partner heads, and these heads they also are speed tunes actually. So I think this has something to do with it.
Wow.
Well, I've also noticed just recently, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, the Poison Cloud now, if the Poison Cloud's up and there's only one other head, it won't.
He will not Poison Cloud
do it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's recently changed.
Yes.
And they didn't mention that at all. They didn't say they changed anything.
He's not casting his skill, right?
Right. No.
I noticed that.
Yeah, there's one other alive. He waits. So you can kind of use it to your advantage now, which is good.
And the same thing happens with the guy that cleanses, which is his partner head. If there's like only one other head alive, he will not cleanse. He will.
Something.
Yeah, they definitely changed it. Yeah, and like there's like partner heads. Something I noticed. So when you have like one head spawning, there's a higher chance of the other head, the partner head, basically spawning, and then because they are speed tuned, they basically just screw you over. So yeah, I fully agree here with you guys. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be very annoying on the full auto to insta battle. Like
it's
you
not
cannot deal with that.
I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
All right. Hydra and Chimera advanced quests. This was one of my biggest pet peeves, and it's so simple to solve, Plarium. Just put it under the damn weekly quests. Anybody have anything different to say, Ken?
Nope, totally agree with you.
Zero?
One beef.
Oh boy.
Why is it that they lock out Chimera for 24 hours? On Thursday, you can't use it before the Friday reset. Does anybody know why they did that?
Because they need to adjust their score. They need to make sure that the scores are all accounted properly. That's
calculating money.
Yeah, so that ended up screwing me because we're used to running Hydra right at the very end, and I thought that would be the same thing with Chimera, and I never looked at the clock, so that locking me out pissed me off. But go to the weekly. That's fine. Yeah, it needs to come out of the daily 100%. Especially running this free to play from the free to play perspective. Like 6 days is a huge difference in what I can do to develop a champion. I could take another 6-star up or get War Master on them. That's going to be a huge difference than if you force me to use it right after the reset, right? So,
right.
Yeah, take that away.
PJ?
Yeah, I would say outside of just moving the use a Chimera key, use a Hydra key to the weeklies, they also need to adjust the specific quests, like the elite quests where it's like complete 9 RAM trials, 9 Viper trials, 9 Lion trials. They should lower those a little
Clan
bit. I
quest.
think that's kind of
The
kind of
clan quest,
ridiculous.
There is lots
Yeah.
of Chimera clan quests now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they want to
The clan
force you to do
quest.
that content, right? They want to make
Exactly.
sure that
Well-
you're getting it done because it's
I mean, they can do
so
it, but it doesn't have to be
important.
as they can do 5 trials or something, or 4. It doesn't have to be 9. Like they're making it so hard.
9
Right.
is very hard, bro.
Yeah,
I cannot do 9.
and that's on
think-
one
I'm not gonna-
one form, not even total.
I tried this week to go, and I think the
Mm-hmm.
best I could do was 8 with this team.
Yeah, and you need 9 on Viper form
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
On Nightmare or higher.
So, Ken?
I already
Oh, I
answered.
already asked you. Sorry. Gestel.
Yeah, this is yeah, I'm fine with this. Whatever.
Okay. So just put it in the weekly and you're good with it. Bick?
Yeah, it's annoying, but like it sometimes kind of makes you knock it out too. So like I can't get like it only frustrates me if I haven't been able to get to my dailies until like there's an hour left
Right.
in the in the cycle. That's the only time I really care about that. Most of the time, I'll see it like early enough where I'm like, all right, fine, I'll knock out a stupid Hydra here. I'll knock out a Chimera or whatever. Not a big deal. But this is better. This is better.
Okay. Bick, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm doing with Chimera is I'm running it immediately after reset because I freaking hate Chimera. I just want to get it out of the way for the rest of the week. So for me, like, I am more annoyed with the do 5 TTA matches a day than these personally.
You don't get
but,
the 5 TTA matches anymore unless you're under 50.
Well, guess who is under 50 on some
No,
accounts?
you still get it.
I still get it,
no.
boy.
You don't
Only-
get the
only
I get
conditional
5
one anymore.
TT.
You don't get the conditional.
Oh, right,
TTA
right.
anymore.
The conditional
Like
one. Yeah,
higher
sorry,
team
sorry.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me these are more annoying than the daily Chimera and Hydra. But I think a lot of these daily quests and stuff need to be looked at, and also the clan quest. I think a lot of these are outdated and need to be changed.
I mean, you don't get a lot of just like one man teams like this.
No, I don't, and I'm also not in the red, so maybe that's the reason why.
Yeah,
Probably.
definitely.
I mean, if you're in gold
sh-
4, you want to be in the red. You don't want to be that high.
You should probably
Yeah,
push up a
well,
little bit.
There's not
I'm
a lot of
going to.
people. Not a lot of people that can be in the red, sadly. So,
Or
or not a lot of people that can be in gold 4. I mean,
Yeah,
You
it's
only have
actually
7,000
easier to be in.
baht?
Yeah, bro, I buy everything. I'm not like you. I'm not a hoarder.
I am
Oh.
also buying everything. I'm over 200k. Everything on the cooldown.
Well, I don't know. Did you buy the avatar? Or not the avatar, the frame?
I did.
Oh, okay. Then I'll shut up.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. The last thing right here that I want to touch up on is the classic arena. We're gonna start looking at blind resets, which has been a big thing for the platinum push players, and rotating schedule. The rotating schedule, I think, is going to be the biggest thing, especially for somebody like me, because it's like 3 a.m. in the morning for me. And then the blind arena, I think that kind of helps the clan protection that we discuss, right? But Ken, where do you stand from that?
That's very cool, man. I wish they did that long ago. Blind reset is really good. You know, we also got some dramas back in the day, you know, like, hey, this clan boost them, blah, blah, blah. So this can also help them on this stuff. So yeah, hopefully they can do that soon. But lots of the stuff they mentioned on this Dave's question, whatever you called it, is doesn't have a release date. And most of the stuff doesn't have too much detail. That's the thing. I'm like, oh man, like, okay, they mentioned like they are going to work on the Hydra, but like what? Give us some the
Sounds great.
things we can hold it, in our hand. We can say like, oh guys, like look, this is what they are going to do. So don't open your shard for the Tranda. Like
Yeah, obviously
give
they're
us
not going to
something.
do that. Come on, Ken. They're not going to do that.
I don't know.
All right. Gestel, what about yourself?
Wait, what was this one?
The blind arena along with the
That's right. Yeah. Wait. So blind arena. What would that mean? Like you don't know who you're
that
fighting?
basically would mean you just get thrown into a pool at arena. So you click in and then you don't know who it is. So you could be facing my team or a mad player could be facing mad player. The thing is, there's clans are not attacking clan members, right? So that's the thing that they're trying to fix, I guess.
Right. They both sound great. I don't do, just like you said, I don't do reset, or I don't do plat pushes because it's like a terrible time for me. And
I think it's like midnight.
yeah, the
for you,
blind
right?
reset. Yeah, midnight for me, but like I get up early, so midnight for me is horrible. So midnight for me, like when I was in college, would have been great. But
Yeah.
midnight for me now isn't the best. So
Sucks getting old.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, so whatever. They both sound good to me, man. Like Classic Torino has been pretty dead to me for a long time. So this might reinvigorate it a little bit.
Okay. Mike, Mikhail Maker. So again, it would just basically be not knowing who you pick, or who you, because you can't cherry pick the opponent. Like you won't be able to fight one man teams. And I believe that it should only be implemented for platinum level, nothing below that. PJ.
I think this is good. It's gonna be very impactful for the majority of the player base. I think this is really just for like the plat end players, top end, classic arena. It's good. I think they're gonna be very happy. I know this is something they've been asking for a long time. I know in the Supreme Club they've been mentioning this and talking to them about it. So I think it's good. I think a lot of people are gonna be happy with this. The rotating resets would be nice. It's kind of bad time for a lot of people depending on where you are in the world, so it'd be nice if they could switch that up a little bit, but overall yeah, good stuff.
Okay. Ken? Oh no, I already asked Ken, sorry. Bick.
Yeah. So earlier I said that it feels like they're trying to pull in whales into Live Arena with the seasonal stuff and trying to get like people that are spending but not interested in PvP to be interested in PvP, and I feel this change is kind of in line with that. I think they're looking at how can we get the people that are heavy spenders but are not interested in Arena be more active in Arena, and I think this is one of the metrics they're trying to improve at the moment, and this falls in line with that.
Okay.
So,
Zero?
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, what I wanted to say is I personally would love for them to not look at the top 0.01%, but rather fix Arena for the majority of the people that are suffering and not the people that are enjoying Arena and already going for the plat pushes and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. Zero, what about yourself?
Yeah, maybe I don't understand the first bullet point there, but your boy did a react video to this on that YouTube's is, and I just basically suggested in that the rotations absolutely needs to happen. Again, it's very, very much unfavorable to the United States. But I think my two suggestions is just rotate it every 12 hours. So if it's 4 a.m. for me now, next
it would
week,
be weekly.
make it 4 p.m. And then I said, and maybe that's not inclusive to the entire world. So every week have it rotate 6 hours, right? So 4 p.m.,
Okay.
10 p.m., 4 a.m., 10 a.m., and do that once a month, I think. And then I think if you did that, you could probably hit minimum two, depending on wherever you are in the world, once a month, if you wanted to push it. So I think that'd be a great suggestion.
Okay. And last but not least, I think this is This would be the perfect addition only because of the opening video that we saw from Ken, and you guys can imagine what the other guy would be putting in. But live arena emojis. I would be so excited about this, and I would definitely be the first one to give Ken, do you know which one, if he ever pulled that shit on me with Sifi. But Ken, what do you think?
Man, amazing. I cannot wait to spam whale emojis there, you know? Poop emojis. Garlic emojis. This is so good, actually. I'm so excited about this one.
I wonder if they're going to have a free-to-play emoji and a $14 free-to-play emoji.
Oh, they're gonna sell us the emojis 100%.
Oh, God. Why would you say that? Why would you say
it's a
that?
great idea.
Hey,
Like-
they gotta monetize somehow.
No. Yeah, just put them as a reward, as like a extra thing that we could get in a reward. Don't do it like the avatars and stuff.
Supreme
Give
Club
us
on
free. Okay, would you rather let the whales pay for emojis or give us free oil conversion costs?
Free oil conversion costs.
Okay, and then charge for emojis and let the people that want to
No,
ball
I don't
out and
wanna
do the
charge
$1
for
million.
emojis.
Shiny poop emojis.
Vic, what about you? What do you guys? Chat. Are you guys for the emojis too? Go ahead, Vic.
I hope they add the option for us to turn off the emojis.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's a good call.
Okay. I want to ask chat, and you guys could use whichever emoji you think in chat right now. Which one do you think would be the most used? Ready? And go.
Cheap emoji.
Gessel, what about you?
Yeah, I love this actually. I've been saying they needed some sort of chat function in live room. This is probably better. This is this will certainly be toxic. I'm fine with toxic. I played Smite for 10 years, bro. People are so toxic in that game. It's unbelievable. So if you're gonna throw a couple emojis at me if I do something dumb or if you beat me, I think it'd be funny. I actually like it. I like it. I think being able to turn it off is probably a good idea. I think that's a good idea though, because I think a lot of people would hate it.
Okay.
I'm still gonna spam it though.
Let's go to Zero. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think honestly the most used one would be like our boy's name, GG. I think that would be, that would be a really good one to have, right? A good game, hey, you got me or whatever. That could be kind of taken a certain way. And then, you know what? Having the option to turn it off, and if they didn't do something like that, allow them not to like go ham and spam it, right? Like though, like if there's 10 emojis you could pick from, maybe you can only do it once every 15 30 seconds or something like that. I don't know.
I'm looking at chat and they're like middle finger, salami, poop, middle finger, trash,
Eggplant.
eggplant, yes. Thanks, Peck. PJ,
You're
what about
welcome.
you?
I think it's fun. It's cool. It brings a little bit more life to the game. I could see them adding them to some rewards. I just don't necessarily like that idea, depending on what they're taking out. Like I hate the idea of them putting in rewards, but they always having to like replace it with something instead of just adding extra. And then I could also see like what Zero said of them selling it, and I think that would actually be fine. Make more money. Like player makes money without actually impacting like the game in like a big way. Like it's not like a stat boost or anything. It's not like you're gonna win the game because you bought the emojis or bought anything like that. But it's another revenue stream for Polarium that doesn't impact the game in like a stat boosting or like a power creep way, which I think is good. Same thing with like the skins. They added the skins. If you want to buy the skins, you can buy them. You can look cool, but you don't have to buy the skins, and it's fine as well. So yeah, I think it's a cool addition. It should be interesting. I think sheep, if they're going to add a sheep emoji, I think that'd be spammed a lot.
Yeah.
And they could do some
sheep.
interesting things with
sheep
it.
emoji, for sure.
I agree. All right, so there's a lot of things that are coming. We don't know when. Well, we know sometime by the summer. We don't know anything more than that, but I'm hoping that we get it a lot faster. With that said, Gessel, where can people come and find you?
Yeah, Guest Still Gaming on Twitch and on the YouTubes. I'm going to be trying out a new format. Well, I've been trying to get it rolling here, but hopefully in the next couple of days. I'm going to be releasing the first 2 fights of my my live arena session as a video, and then I'm going to be streaming the entire live arena fights to YouTube's as well. That's where I'm having a little bit of an issue right now, but so I think it'd be a little more digestible to jump into like a 10-minute video instead of a 2-hour video. And if you still want to catch all 2 hours, you can do it from the live portion of YouTube. So give me a follow there. There you go.
All right. PJ, where can everybody come and find you?
MXPJE on Twitch and on YouTube. I stream pretty much every single weekday, 2 times a day as much as possible. Play rate other games as well. Come say what's up and hang out.
Awesome. Beck, where can everybody come and find you?
Yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/Bickets and same on YouTube. And apparently you should be following me because apparently I am being held hostage to release my first YouTube video. So
I don't know who's
Thanks for
holding
that,
you
Lacey.
hostage. Ken, what you got?
Final Kenpachi, both on the YouTube and the Twitch. We are streaming at the Columbus Reset Time, guys. We are streaming both platforms, so whichever you like more, you can watch me. Thank you.
All right, Zero.
Yes, sir. Come follow us on the Twitches. I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday night. But more importantly, please subscribe to the YouTube. We are getting ever so closer to 500, but as soon as we get to 1,000, we'll let the community pick a hair color dye. So 1,000 is the goal, and we will do it. And I do have a day job, so I gotta. It's you know, get my hair dyed. Let's just say that you can pick the color.
Ooh, let's go. That's it. Let's go shout outs. Let's go with PJ first. What you got for a shout out for me?
All right, we're giving a shout out to my friend Nam on my Chomsky. He's an awesome dude, really crazy account. Doesn't stream that often, but when he does stream, definitely go check him out and follow. Really good vibes over there.
Awesome. Gessel, what about yourself?
I'm gonna shout out my man Soul Saint. He's been on the podcast with us in the past. He's a great streamer, great YouTuber. Go give him a follow. It's Soul Saint, the O, and Soul is a 0.
Awesome. Ken, what you got for a shout out?
Shout out the Pogo Pink Tie. Pogo Pink Tie is the Mad Hatter in real life, guys. He was so happy actually whenever he first started to see the champion. And he's live right now on the TV, so you guys can find him. Pogo _ Pink Tie. This is his nickname. Pretty much streaming, I believe, every single day. So make sure to follow. Great guy.
Awesome. Zero, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think I gave this shout out just recently again, but I got to rate him the other night. And he had a major life announcement, and I won't spill his thunder, but he made it on Twitch as well. So we can give our boy Foro a shout out. And again, we have yet to cross paths, but whenever I make the trip back down to Houston, he's in that area. So we're gonna do a meetup for sure, get to meet him in real life. But he's been back at it now that he's gotten his life back on track, and yeah, give him some love.
Awesome. And Bick, what about you?
Yeah, so PJ actually stole the person I wanted to shout out, so I'm gonna go with my boy Airfern too. Does amazing account help. Very funny guy, so definitely check him out.
He's also calling for a nut nerf, which I'm not in support of.
He is a bit confused at times, but yeah,
We still love him.
we still love him even with all his shortcomings. So yeah.
All right, and my shout out's actually gonna go to Bick. Bick, you and I have done some recordings, even though some of it on my end has been a tremendous mess with the audio. But just big shout out to you, man, for coming on, helping out, just the engagement that the community is giving back, and the questions that they're asking. I mean, I think is phenomenal, and you're doing a great and wonderful job, and you're adding just a different perspective, because a lot of us are just gamers and we just enjoy it, but you actually know what's going on in the back end of everything. So big shout out to you, my brother. And make sure you guys are following him over on YouTube and Twitch. because he is going to be giving out some stuff. So make sure you don't miss out on that. That said, next week will be, I guess, I don't want to spoil it, but next week we'll have a fun show. Hopefully, if everything goes as planned, and we'll be bringing on another special guest. That said, I hope everybody has a wonderful week.
Fusion coming next week.
Why are you spelling
Leaks.
Oh, did I leak that?
Leaks.
Everybody
All right,
knows
well-
it's coming.
Twitch side? We're gonna go over and we're gonna raid Namamai Chomsky's because I had it planned even before he did the shout out. But as always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. We'll catch you guys next time.